Welcome to the Soul Revival Podcast, where we have deep and meaningful conversations exploring modalities, tools, and healing, guiding you back to your most expansive soul self.
Welcome back to another episode of the Soul Revival Podcast. Today's episode is how Lindsay and I receive guidance from our angels, how they communicate through us, how they validate situations in our life. We may have a story or two to tell, but we're going to let Lindsay kick this off and tell us all of the ways that her angels communicate through her and how she receives guidance from them.
I love this topic, and I feel like it's such an important topic because I think I think a lot of times we as humans aren't necessarily aware of all the ways that we can call on our angels. And similar to connecting with our loved ones on the other side, we have to be open to receive and we have to be willing to invite them in because we do have free will. So I feel like because a lot of times people aren't even aware of the archangels, the roles that they play, the power that they can have in your life and making your life better. Because they're unaware, they don't even know to like call on them for specific things. And for me, because of that, I think the more I've dove into this, the deeper I've integrated them into my daily practice, the more they show up for me. So similar to connecting with your loved ones on the other side, the more you do it, it is like a muscle. The easier it is for you to call on them and the faster and more powerful that they come through to you because you have strengthened that muscle and opened that channel wide open.
Yes, I would have to agree. I think that too, Lindsay, before I realized and organized and built this friendship with my archangels, I felt them tapping. I've always felt them tapping. And it's not like aggressive, but me being a person that needs to know who is at my door, it did cause a little bit of like chaos because my mind felt energy, but it wasn't like a human energy and I didn't understand what was going on. So it gave me almost anxiety, I would say, because I just didn't know. I didn't have the information behind it. Um, but more tapping in and understanding and building relationships with each one. I used to live a life full of anxiety. I have zero anxiety now because they help with anything from holding grudges to triggers to healing the inner child to bringing in beauty and love. There are threads of energy of archangels around us trying to help us raise our frequency and feel bigger than ourself, but feel bigger than ourself. Really tap us into our divine self because we are all a creation of God. And I think building that one-on-one relationship with each of them is so incredibly important if you are on a spiritual journey or just feeling that tapping of them on the outskirts of your energy field.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple things that I'd like to add on that. Number one, I will kind of take the juxtaposed position. So as a kid growing up, I would say, I was raised, I guess, I don't want to say super religious, not super religious by any means, but I did go to private, like religious-based schools, so Catholic and Lutheran schools. And, it was part of my grandparents' rituals to go to church. And so I had quite a bit of exposure to traditional religion. And with Catholicism specifically, there was always this draw to the angelic realm. And now looking back on it, I think, going like full picture that it really relates to all of my calling. The other thing I wanted to mention that came up for me while you were talking is the pathway that the angels can help provide as healers. And spoiler alert, we're all healers. And so if you're listening to this podcast, you're 100% a healer. The fact is that we can call on them, whether it's for healing our own bodies, and this is going to be some of the story sharing that I'm going to do. We can use them in conjunction with our other modalities. We can call them in to help us as kind of like a powerhouse, strength behind the healing that we're doing for ourselves, for our animals. So if you're trained in modalities like Reiki or somatics or any type of intuitive based healing, having the ability to call on your angels just amplifies that and gives you way more strength beyond just the energy you even have at your fingertips. It's all the energy that they have from, the other side, from the angelic realm, from God, universe, source, that you are now channeling through you as part of that healing. So that's why it's been particularly important for me, which I'll share around really tapping into that energy. And like I said, the more I've tapped into it, the more I've I don't want to say taking advantage of it sounds bad, but leveraging it has been like more and more strength behind it.
We want to express deep gratitude for everybody who sponsors the podcast. It really, really matters. It allows us to invest our time, effort, and energy in bringing you the most relevant spiritual content. So if you're feeling called, please subscribe, click like, leave a review, or sponsor the podcast. We very, very much appreciate you.
That's what they want. They want us to be leveraging them. They're here for a reason, and the more people that utilize them as daily tools, it's only going to raise the consciousness. It's only going to bring humanity to a healing. The confidence that they bring me to. I am a person that may have a personality of being nervous, and it's hard for me to show up. I have done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sessions on people, mediumship and healing sessions, and every single time I have to go sit behind the computer to do a heart restoration session, I am nervous. Like my being is nervous. But grounding into that angelic realm and feeling them surrounding me, it brings me out of those nerves. Instantly gives me the confidence I need because it is so much bigger than me. And it is a tool, and it's a great tool, and it provides the most clarity, the most support, the most healing, the most love. You name it, they are bringing it. And I think that the awareness around them needs to be a more studied topic.
I agree. And I think that makes total sense with what you just said because you have no control. Like we don't have any control when we're channeling or, doing this intuitive work where basically it's the opposite of control. And so your human brain tries to let fear creep in that you're not prepared. You didn't do the things
Yeah.
when that thinking brain needs to go completely offline anyways. So having the angels on your team to be part of that is just going to help you release attachment to any semblance of control.
Absolutely. I love that you put it that way because that is exactly what happens. We have to turn our human mind off when connecting because we're always told imagination is something that's made up, right? But channeling them, it uses all of your imagination and you have to trust and anchor into what you are receiving and believe it to be true because I mean the stories of validation that they give, there's no other way to anchor into it. Um, and I mean, our stories that we will tell in this podcast will hopefully anchor you into it. But I had to work on archangels one on one to really get to know them for who they are, for how they enter my field, how they feel in my body. I couldn't learn them all at once. And I also feel that they don't all work it with you at one time. You can get to know them at one time, but they're not always there unless you call on them. Then they'll come. But I know that I work very closely with Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, and Archangel Gabriel. Those are the three that are always on my side.
My three top ones too that I'm
Of
always
course.
calling on.
I love that. I love
And for
that.
everybody listening who's not as familiar with the archangels, there is a whole crew of them besides those three. So it's very air quotes interesting that she and I have the same three.
Oh my goodness, I love that. You know, I have worked closely with other ones as well, especially when I would, I would hold grudges. I'm a Scorpio. I wouldn't want to hold grudges, but I would hold grudges. I did not want to forgive for that person. And I've realized that you're not even forgiving for that person. You're forgiving for yourself. When you release the judgments and the grudges that you've held on people for doing what they've done to you, it's not freeing them, it's freeing yourself. And it's allowing yourself to feel the flow of the energy again. Because when you hold a grudge, it's resentment and then it builds on top of each other and it just causes all this dis-ease. And then you feel all the feels. But when you work with the archangels, they really help pinpoint why you feel the way you feel, the triggers that cause it, and then So for example, I'm going to say this story really quick just to kind of get us started here. But Archangel Regal, holds the frequency of grudges and he helps you overcome what is holding you back, like traumas, things like that. Um, my fiance was mowing the grass one day and when I met with him one-on-one energetically, he showed me dragonflies to be his symbol. And so I just always knew him to be the dragonfly symbol. Mark was mowing the grass and he only mowed like a third of the yard. And then he was like, "Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that." And I'm a person that's like, if you start something, finish it. Don't leave it like we have neighbors, what are they
Yeah.
thinking? Not that it matters, but this is what I'm processing at the
Yeah.
time. So he ends up leaving, and I'm like, you know what? I guess I'm gonna go push the half acre of grass because I'm not waiting for this to get done. And I go down one string of grass. I come back and I'm heading back down again. When I look, Lindsay, there are thousands, and I have videos of this, thousands of dragonflies. And I realized that it wasn't even Mark that was triggering me to be able to just get up and leave so effortlessly. It was the limited beliefs I had on that you have to start something you finished. There was just so much conditioning around that one topic that I was extremely triggered, and it had nothing to do with Mark, but I made it seem like it was Mark. And the dragonflies definitely really, really, really helped me just release all of these energetic strings and cords around it, and it brought so much magic in. And you know who had the most fun time mowing the grass the rest of the time? Me.
You.
Me. So that's ways that they can work with us.
I love that. I love that. And I would say too, that you very well might have a core archangel or several core archangels like Autumn and I have, but also they will come in and help you during specific seasons with specific issues or challenges that you might be having. So I've had like the seraphim, or had show up for me in many different ways. I've had just multiple archangels show up in different ways that I didn't even necessarily like think they're on my team, or I necessarily would associate with them. Metatron has shown up for me a few times in different ways. So just because you have a core team, or even a single archangel that you just kind of resonate with, and if there's a name that you feel like has always come up during your life, you can be sure that that archangel is definitely on your team. But you might have others that show up for specific situations when you need them as well. And that it just might tie back to a season or an event in your life or something specific that they're very, very good at assisting in.
Absolutely. And I do feel Archangel Jophiel is here, especially with everyone trying to get in tune with their divine feminine because she holds the energy of beauty of that divine feminine. I feel like she's kind of here on a collective level, like Archangel Michael usually is. But it literally makes me laugh sometimes in sessions when they're like, I have this angel. It kind of sounds like this or that. And they're literally saying the name. And I'm like, this is an archangel. Like you're hearing your intuition. They're here. Like they're literally telling you that they're helping you. And people don't take that next step to maybe Google or to find that like resource online to really put two and two together that, oh my goodness, like this is people feel this.
Yeah, and there are great resources online to deep dive into the energy of each archangel. And I think doing an intuitive reading in session, I mean, I've had people come to me, I'm sure you have as well, wanting to know who their archangels are, learning more about their entire, divine support team, whether it's, power animals, spirit animals, their archangels. So all that can come through in session too, especially when it's meant to. So if you've been feeling called to deeper dive into this and explore, feel like that you could work with an intuitive healer to help you understand your support team a little bit better, because some people don't feel comfortable diving into this stuff on their own. They want to have a guide through it. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
And that's where the soul revival community can also help. I just want to emphasize there's so many amazing healers and people with knowledge behind the archangels and just the energy of the collective frequency. And God, universe, source, they don't want you feeling alone right now. There is so much energetic support behind the scenes that if we just get in tune with our bodies, we will be able to feel it in an immense way because the frequency of love is abundant. We are not in any way, shape, or form at a scarcity level. Like scarcity does not exist in this realm of love. It is abundant, and there's so much for every single soul here on earth. So if you are feeling alone, reach out. Like reach out to me even. I would love to help you just tap into that abundant frequency that is here for all of us.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'm going to share one of mine, and I've got two that I'll share. So the first one I would share is, and I know people who are familiar with my journey, and we talked about this on an episode in season one too, are familiar with the fact that I had a dog pass. My dog Valor passed way prematurely. Actually, it was his second incarnation back to me, and he's now since reincarnated back to me a third time during this lifetime of mine. But when he was sick, he had a disease called IVDD, which is like basically degenerative spine. So like every vertebrae in his spine was degenerative. He had emergency surgery to fix the ones that gave out. He was only 5 years old when, or actually 4.5 when he had the surgery. He passed at 6 the last time, but we had multiple times where he had like severe issues, and I was doing everything with him. He had emergency surgery. I did Reiki with him on the regular. He did PT. He had a watershed mill. I was doing everything traditional, holistic, and non-traditional with him. But there were multiple times where with in conjunction with the Reiki where we had like really, really scary incidents where it was like a matter of whether or not I was going to have to let him cross. Multiple times where the vets told me like I'm probably going to have to let him cross then like the next week. And it seemed like it frequently happened like on a Thursday or Friday, and the vets would give me like the weekend to see if anything changed. And so I of course would do like session after session after session with him of Reiki healing, and I would always call in on Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael to assist in the session. And I literally felt and channeled their energy coming in and healing him. And I could picture the cells regenerating and the tissue regenerating. And it was amazing. It was the most amazing thing ever because it happened every time I did one of those sessions with him. We were at like the ninth hour, and the vets were telling me there's no way healthy tissue is going to be here in 3 days. And every single time it was. And I know it was not just me doing the Reiki sessions, but the power of calling in the archangels and having them assist in the healing and guiding in the healing as well. And if you've got loved ones on the other side, they can work in conjunction with your archangels too. I mean, every time I would call in Roger to assist as well, knowing that he could help, strengthen that power from the angels coming through even more. But it literally always worked. And I mean, my vets were absolutely floored by it. So that's my first one. And my other one's related to it.
Let's go back to back. I absolutely love it. I feel you even talking about the story. Archangel Michael and Raphael are like, you can feel a difference in your body when you are channeling that healing, that immense amount of healing in your physical body. You can feel a difference.
Yeah.
And that's how you know they're working through you to help bring that miracle in. And that is what it is. It's an absolute miracle. And it's here for each and every soul that is willing to strengthen a muscle called your intuition.
I love that you said that because I would also say the more that you tap into their energy and channeling their energy, the more you'll feel it in your body in different ways. So, for me, I've always felt, and I'm actually feeling it right now, like I'll feel little things on my face, I'll feel things in my ear. So if you see me doing things like that when we're on episode, that's why, because I definitely have those powers coming through me. But the more I've done this work, the more it has become like I will feel almost even lightheaded. And it's like, I don't know, it's this incredibly powerful, beyond physical sensation that you're channeling.
Like
Um,
normally you feel grounded as like a soul here on earth, and then when you're channeling them, it's almost like you're out of like you're just so light and you're like not grounded in the body, and it's a beautiful, beautiful feeling.
yeah, absolutely. My second one is related to Valor, that my discovery of this was related to Valor, and it's something I use now if I need to as well. But he required 24-hour physical care, so he had to be carried everywhere. He couldn't walk. I mean, he gained some mobility back, but he couldn't do stairs. He couldn't do any type of incline or decline. He couldn't go to potty on his own. He had to be taken in and out of a cart when I finally was able to get one, but it took a while for him to even get strong enough to be able to, their back has to heal to a certain point to even be able to be in a cart. So it was very, very challenging physically. And there's no way that I could have been like sick or gone down with any type of illness and cared for him. Like I just couldn't have done it. I mean, it was taxing on me because he was 30 pounds. And if you're listening thinking that doesn't sound that heavy, if you're carrying that weight constantly up and down stairs 24/7 for like almost 2 years, it takes its toll. But, getting something like the flu or, having an allergic reaction or, having a virus was not an option because I had to have all my physical strength. And multiple times when he was, dealing with the IVDD, I had, times when I had an allergic reaction to something and like had like kind of flu-like symptoms because of my reaction to something that I had eaten. And then I also one time like literally felt like I was getting the flu, and I would lay in bed and just because things tend to hit me at night, I would say, like if I'm catching something or whatever. And I would lay there and call on the angels, call on my angels, my divine support team, pray specifically to Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, to come and to help me to heal for the best and highest good for Valor. And I've been getting emotional telling this every single time. Like, I mean, I had several times where I was like crawling to the bathroom so sick, and I would like just implore the angels to help me by 6 a.m. when my alarm went off to make sure that I didn't feel sick. Every single time I was well when my alarm went off, every single time.
My goodness. That is amazing. And I am definitely going to start utilizing that concept. When we get sick, we get so victim mentality, right? Like, oh, it's happening to me, it's happening to me. How beautiful it is to just be able to have that belief that, hey, they're going to come in and they're going to cure me and I'm going to be okay. Um, I see this a lot with people that have cancer as well, that I do sessions on. Not, obviously they are very ill, but they want a belief in something big. And when I connect them with their angels, it is huge. It is a huge turnaround of events for them, even just mentally and physically when they begin to tune in to their angels. And mind you, this is with any dis-ease in the body, but it is a miracle in itself. I love that story. Not that you got sick, but just the story of the belief of, by 6 a.m. you were fine. And
Yeah.
mothers could use this. Mothers, I mean, there's so much on our plates already. I mean, you are a dog mom tenfold, but there's so much on our plates already. We forget about the magic that's here and it's ready for you to start utilizing. That is beautiful, Lindsay. I love, love, love that story.
Yeah, and I could literally feel the energy like shifting in my body overnight, like I would get like my body would like heat up, and I knew it was like that like bad like toxic energy that was in my system trying to anchor into sickness leaving my system.
Oh my goodness. And that's like a tension energy goes where attention flows, or
Yeah,
maybe it's the opposite of that. But I'm just thinking of like I'm taking a step back and realizing how much we all probably anchor in when we're sick to that illness. And it probably just festers throughout us. If we detach from the story of what it's doing, it's not going to have any energy to keep festering inside of us.
exactly.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I'm going to tell one more story really quick because as with illnesses in our physical body, obviously they will with the stories Lindsay has and I have, there's just no doubt or anything to take away from that. But they also will help with manifestation as well. So I work very closely with my guardian angel. Her name is Starlight. I don't know if I've ever told anyone that. And I got validation through my daughter that her name is actually Starlight. When I was working really close with her one on one, in the beginning of getting to know all my angels, I wanted to manifest with her. And I kept writing down that I had no car payments, that my cars were going to be paid off, and that I wasn't going to have a car payment because, car payments are a hefty dent in the Seago household. So when I had graduated high school, I remember I went to this agent and she had told me, if you ever do anything for yourself, claim $0 comprehensive on your insurance claim. They won't ever offer it. You have to voice it to them, but always claim $0 comprehensible. I don't know how I remembered this, but it's something that's always it was a code given to me that has anchored in since then. So any insurance policy I have $0 comprehensive. Well, we had a 2016 Buick Encore and we had a 2019 Honda Civic. The 2019 Honda Civic was already totaled because I had gotten hit in a parking lot and it was a whole battle. So there was a dent in the driver's side door and the back side door. But the car was considered totaled out. Not through insurance, but just through like trying to battle the lawsuit or whatever. So in May of 2024, we had a hailstorm. And you never know what to do when your car gets like hit with hail. I wasn't thinking of the $0 comprehensive, but my angels were so adamant. I kept hearing Archangel Michael and Starlight saying, make a claim, make a claim. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I definitely probably have a deductible because I wasn't thinking of the $0 comprehensive. So I make the claim, the guy comes out and I'm like, having so much anxiety because right you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how rough these people are, and I'm letting him do his thing, and then all of a sudden I go out because he's like, hey, I got this all figured out, come on outside. And I went out there and he said the car was totaled. And I'm like, well, what does this mean? I'm gonna have to get a new car. And he's like, no, you get to keep the car because it's just physical body damage. And he's like, and we're gonna give you a $3,000 check. Okay, so they paid my car off. I still get to drive it. You can't tell there's hail damage on it still to this day. And I got a $3,000 check. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm not even thinking of like manifesting at this moment. I'm just thinking, what a miracle. And so then it gets better. 6 months later, in October of 2024, I wake up from a dream and I heard Archangel Michael tell me my dream. I need to go back and claim the Honda Civic and backdate it to that hailstorm. And I'm like, I have to be crazy to do this. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And I just when you get the hell yes energy and you're like, okay, all right, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. So I did. In October of 2024, I filed a claim backdating it to that hailstorm in May because that's when it happened. And not thinking literally just letting the angels take the road on this. They come out, they check the car. Mind you, this is the car that's already totaled. It's like $13,000 worth of damage, okay? It's a 2019 Honda Civic. I didn't know what I was going to get. I ended I ended up getting a call to go out there and, see the guy again. It was a different guy this time. And he minimized the damage that was actually done on the car previously. And he totaled the car out from the hailstorm. This time we didn't get to keep the car, but we really didn't need the car because it was totaled anyways. And we got another $1,200 check. So all of our car payments are paid off now. Oh, and to beat that, this car was under Mark's name on the insurance and it was a $2,000 deductible. But because two cars got damaged in the same accident, they went off the lowest deductible, which was the $0 deductible. Yeah. So we didn't have to pay anything out of pocket. We got a check. The car got totaled. We didn't get to keep the car. But even adding to the story because Spirit's like, that's not all. My dad, he's not really like a gift giver. He doesn't ever give gifts. My neighbor had this car and I would always look at it like, man, I would really like a car like that. Man, I would really like a car like that. 4 months before we claimed that car on the insurance, so this was probably like the end of July. My dad calls me and he's like, "Hey," he's like, "I know you got a totaled car and you're gonna be having a baby soon and all this stuff." He's like, "I have a car that, you can have. You just have to change the title into your name." So we already had a car that worked. We had two cars. The one that we were paying for, we didn't have to pay for anymore. And that car that my dad had given me looked just like the neighbor's car. So this is I mean, healing the body is so important, but also leveraging leveraging the angels to your benefit is also just as important. And I love that story. And
Yeah, I
it's
love
beautiful.
that. That's such an awesome story. And they're there waiting for us to call on them. All we have to do is call on them.
Call on them and anchor into the belief. Trust that they're going to do what they need to do. And you just have to stay in the present moment. You have to stay in flow in the present moment, ground yourself, spread love, and they will do the rest. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. Follow our podcast. We release a new episode each and every week, and join us on Facebook inside the Soul Revival community. Come be a part of the magic. We'll see you there.